The quintessential mindfucker of Christian music is that they're like homosexual love songs, and with wedged bilateral love in between, which is why they say Jesus during penetrative sex, ejaculation on top of a female partner. Creation was called good and complete, just with Adam alone in a garden. And it was only by complaint of loneliness, despite God being everywhere, which, if you ask me, is rather telling, because it says a lot about God if he can be everywhere and you can be completely lonely, and he knows the solution is a female. What I think this story was really about is kings appointing forced weddings in ancient monarchies, and inbreeding and interbreeding. And so you see them, and the evidence shows in the fact that you'll find two versions of the same tale often told, and they apparently come from Sumerian and Mesopotamian kingdoms, who would talk via communications on horseback dispatch to the other kingdom, and because all the people thought that gods controlled everything that they were looking at. The fertility god is here. Let's fuck and have children. The god of food has blessed us. Let's eat. The sun god is up. The moon god is up. Sun god is up, and when it's sunny, our crops grow. When the moon god is up, our crops deteriorate. Rah, damn that moon god. And so the kingdom's inbreeding and interbreeding is all I think these stories are really about, and the fact that they would sell off daughters first. The first trade of human, the first act of human trafficking was kingdoms going, well, if you extend the land of your kingdom so many acres close to ours so as to merge, we will sell a daughter for wedlock. So if these kingdoms isolated and bloodline purity had to mean something, but this is a time in history where blood was not testable in any way, and its purity wasn't testable in any way. And so it can only be an ideological thing, whatever they meant by bloodline purity. And what I think it was is that because at this time, if someone cut your leg open and I spat in it, it would be thought to be cleansing and medicinal. So they hardly had pathology labs, so it's not. It's not likely. It's not likely that they knew anything about blood diseases. What they meant was that the kingdoms would fuck only those who are in a kingdom, which meant that unless they interbred between other kingdoms, which they sought to do through allegiances, it can only mean that the kingdoms were fucking themselves. And so that's very concealed. It's concealed, but it's also pointed at, because the Adam and Eve story is just not possible without all of us being inbred. And so the Sumerian and Mesopotamian kingdoms told this story in two different ways, and one involved man and land animals existing on the same day. One involved man being created on his own first, and then God decorating him with everything afterwards: women, land animals, the oceans, blah blah blah. And just it throws me that they actually believed in a flat Earth. They must have had it dictated to them. Think of it: if you had all these gods to create in your mind to explain all these processes, then once a reader stood up going, "Hear ye, and unraveled a scroll that said that there's only one God, then just the idea of monotheism would be enough to marshal the attention of everyone to a point of confusion that, unless they listen, they're going to lose all their knowledge. So it would have been extremely powerful back then. So that's why I think they did it. That's why I think they said there's only one God, because it meant a monopoly on thought. But also the transference, it shows how panicked these members of the community were. If you walk so far, you'll fall off the edge of the earth. Now, they could only get that from having polytheism marshaled to monotheism, marshaled to the view of the page of the guy who unravels the scroll. And that was powerful enough to overthrow the fact that our eyes have circular dots, pupils. The moon is clearly round, the sun is clearly round. Everything that we fucking look at is at least circular. What do you mean that there's an edge in four corners of the earth? Well, that's from a dictatorship. That's what a dictatorship does. A dictatorship has the power to overthrow everyone's thought. And I'm not a person who's into... I'm counter-fascist that way. My book is going to be out to publish this soon. And it's... yeah, well, it's been a long time coming. There's a lot I've been wanting to say, and to be able to say it to a lot of people at once through a book is going to be a relief for me. Because I have difficulty getting my point across through web posting. There's a lot of hacking that goes on, and I'm very censored. And I get warnings from YouTube when I'm going like, fuck you, Elon. I'm not fucking musking you fucker. You flying fuck. I know what I know from my fucking accurate sources. I'm an existentialist. I'll write and we'll publish that instead. And this COVID thing, it's a time of great panic. So... what helps to settle the nerves when there's panic is the celebration ritualistically of debunking. A debunker is a person who does not, and the bisexual rights movement is like this, and like the Church of Satan in that respect. That we do not recruit. We only want those who are already with us. And they know who they are. So, we don't recruit. We don't have a strict codified set of rules. And now that the threat from the underland to those on the surface has become greater, it's become of greater importance that though I suffer, I do so on the surface, and never accept like a Knights Templar invite to go down. That maybe you're putting too much trust in people. Though it's nice to get the fuck away. The thought is nice. The thought of dying just to get the fuck away is nice. How would we get that idea, Queen? Mark 12. Are you the king of the Jews? Well, you said it. It's not really a confession, is it? It's an acknowledgement of a superior dictating through question. So, why kill that beautiful man so that all these other factions of religions are using his death as a template for martyrdom? And because of the oddity of Mark chapter 12. It's a disgrace oddity. And they'll target anyone marginalized just because their statistics point them toward it. That is all.